Here we go, week 2 walkthrough. And basically it's a walkthrough of the checklist with a few added items. First thing it says up here is to stay up to date, read the announcements. Always stay up to date using your app or email. And when you get an announcement, read it as soon as possible, obviously. So let's go to the announcements. And here are the Zoom links for tomorrow morning. Also, there are some notes here about Zoom sessions for the week. The Zoom session on Wednesday is about 30 minutes. On Friday, we have virtual office hours. So, there's no requirement to come unless you got an issue or confusion, or you just want to drop by and chat. That's just fine with me. Drop by, I'll be here. Those are the announcements for the week. And let's go back to week 2, because that's where we are. Alright. So, there's the checklist, and there's the walkthrough, which is what I'm making right now. So, the first thing, just to remind you to join us with this Zoom session. Each class has its own Zoom session. And I'm trying to use the same Zoom session each week, but just to be clear, you should come here at the checklist or the announcement to get your up-to-date link. Okay, so here's all these items. I suggest that you maybe read or print out the week 2 checklist before you go get started during the week. And then, of course, you will watch the week 2 walkthrough, which will be up in just a little bit. Make sure you note any questions while you're going through the checklist and put them up on the question and answer discussion board. Email or ask the questions during Zoom. Now, I already assigned the article, The Right to Bury the Past Online. So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to get together. Now, you don't have to do this right now. In fact, I'm not really sure I want you to do it right now. What I'd prefer you do is when we come on class on Monday, we're going to create what's called an annotation mob. And you're going to annotate that article in class. So I'm going to walk you through the class. Then we'll do the mob and annotation mob, as long as this is reasonable. And then you can finish annotating at the end of class. Okay. Now the reason why we're doing all this is eventually you're going to write a summary of the article. So, but we're also trying to get better at doing what's called close reading. Close reading can help you in any class. And of course, you can't do everything. You can't do close reading on everything. There's just not enough hours in the day. But you have to know when to do it, and you have to know how to do it. For example, if your research project has 1 or 2 really important and core information, arguments, whatever, for your research project, then I expect you're going to want to close read those. Close reading allows you, makes summary so much easier. Because, unless you know what's going on in the article, it's really going to be hard to summarize it. Because summarizing means you have to take out everything that's unnecessary. That's hard. It really is hard to do. So the next item on the list is this these close reading screencasts. Now you'll notice down here, I will have links to these, but I don't have them yet. Okay, the links will be down here. So I'm going to be working on a bunch of these today, and so maybe they'll only get to 3 or 4 of them today. I'm hoping that I'm breaking them up. I'll put them into a playlist on YouTube, and you can work your way through them all week. But I would like you to watch as many of these as you possibly can this week, because what these do is they take the article that we're reading and shows you how to skim the text and how to read for context. and how to look for clues about the topic, and what the main point and purposes are, what the subpoints are, and what they're saying from paragraph to paragraph, and why they're saying what they're saying, where they're saying. What transitions you're looking for, and how to actively read with hypothesis, and to read recursively, which is, you stop, you recap what's been said, or you stop and you go revisit the text, or you link somewhere else, or, there's lots of possibilities here. So I'm working on these screencasts, and I'm hoping that each one of these will be fairly short. So you could be watching those with the idea eventually that this will help you summarize your paper, which we will look at. The summary assignment will be in week 3. The next item on the list is, let me consult my list here. Is to read and complete the assignment, Letting the Research Project Find You. And this is basically what you want to do here is you want to find 5 topics in your discipline or your major or your current field of interest and write them down here. So I wrote 5 down right here. Then these are things that you might be interested in exploring more. These are topics, they're broad. You don't want them to be too broad because, if I had said alternative grading methods for the first one, no, that's not going to work. It's too big an area. So what you want to do is, start off with something that's not completely huge, and then work your way towards creating, and that's in this lime green here, is what I want you to do, create 5 research questions from those topics. They don't have to be perfect questions, they just have to be questions. So here's my 5 questions that I've got right here. All right, and each one is based on one of these up here. For example, Mighty Scary AI is down here. The question is, will AI take over the task of evaluating and grading writing in the composition classroom? Pretty important question. It's a pretty important question. Then, once you've done, let me go back, let me back up a little bit. Once you've done the topics, okay, and once you've done the research questions based on those topics, then I want you to choose one question from those 5. In other words, that's what you're going to do your research project on. That doesn't mean you can't change it later on, but I want you to decide now, because this is a semester long. It's worth 500 points, and it's going to take a lot of work. Paper is probably going to be 10 to 20 pages long. It could be a project. I've had people do podcasts. I've had people do business plans. I've had people do setting up physical therapy plans for people. It just depends on what your major is. All right, so by the end of the week, I want you to choose one of the questions, explain why you chose it. Let's see, I think I've got a deadline for this. I don't have a deadline on here. I'll have to put that in there. So I went ahead and chose number 3 about the AI. And, what I'm doing right here is I'm explaining why I chose that question. Why this question? 10 years ago, it seemed ridiculous. 2 years ago, I started to waver on the idea that it was ridiculous. Now I think it is, like autonomous trucks, only a matter of time. I want to know my enemy. I suspect that I will discover that AI and composition won't do away with my job. It'll just make me redefine it and improve it. Or maybe not. So I want to know, and this semester seems a good time to find out a lot more. And I'm going to tell you where I'm going to keep my research here on Wakelet. That's right here. I click on that, and it takes me to Wakelet. Or it takes me to an external link. And here it is, coming up rather slowly. But this is the information I've gathered so far. And it really is mighty scary. There's only 8 items in here right now, but I'll add to them. Okay. Let's go back. Go back some more. And we have the next item, which is a reading assignment. Now, this DAPS model is a way to plan work, and it's an effective work planning model. Now, if you've got your own work planning model, that's fine. I still want you to try this. I want you to give it a shot. So there's an attachment right here. It's a one-page explanation of the DAPS model. On Wednesday, we'll talk about this model, and I'll show you some examples, good and not so good, of people using the DAPS model for this class. So I say here the tool is designed to create usable research work plans, and like I said, we'll work on that. But right now, I just want you to know that you use this tool right here to do this down here, the research work plan. Now, it's not really that difficult. Once you get down to one research question, then what you do is you plan your week's work around that one research question. Finding out information, talking to people, putting stuff into a research notebook, just whatever it is you want to plan for the week, then you put that into your work plan. It's kind of it's a way of keeping yourself honest. So down here, I talk about this, and I'm going to talk some more about this on Wednesday, but here's my research plan for the week using the DAPS model, and I'll explain that on Wednesday a little bit more. So I'm looking at all of these. Actually, I'm still looking at all of them, even though I've said I've chosen number 3 to work on. I'm still working on all these, and I may change my mind. But down here, I said I will decide on Sunday, 31 January, which of the 5 questions I will explore further. All right, so that's my work plan. I'm going to look here, and I'm going to explore these things in Google search tools, and then here, then you're going to. I'm going to decide which one of those questions I want to work on, and down here, and once I've decided that one question, here's how I'm going to explore it. And it's really pretty simple what we do here. We plan our work, and the work plan is based upon the DAPS model. Once we've got a work plan for the week, then we work our plan. We do what we're going to say. For example, I'm going to look for a paper notebook to record my thoughts, because I'm a paper person. I'm an analog person. I've already set up a digital space in Wakelet. You've seen that. I'm going to talk to my Twitter community about my question. I'll probably do that tonight. And then I'm going to find keywords that get results in search engines. And that's what I'm going to be working on all week. And then I'm going to use all of Google search to find better keywords. Okay? That's how I'm going to explore it. That's my research plan. That's my work plan for the week. Now here's the deal. Once I've done the work plan, then all during week 3. See, this is the very beginning of our work plans for the semester. So this is my right up here. This is my week 3 work plan. So this isn't due until I think it's due the 31st, which is Sunday. So you all haven't done this yet. So you have to come up with your work plan. This is where you put it right here. This is the work plan. This is the assignment. And then once you've got the work plan written and turned in, then in week 3, that's when you plan your work. Then at the end of that week, which is the 7th of February, Sunday, you write a reflection. So every week you write a work plan. You tell me what you're going to do. You're as specific as possible when you're going to do it. There's really promises to yourself is in your work plan. Then you go out and do it, and then you make notes to yourself as you go. That's why you need a paper notebook or digital notebook. And then, because maybe your research question will change as you do research, as you talk to people. And then at the end of the week, you will write a reflection. And right here is where I talk about what a reflection might be in a reflection. And these are not intended to take a long time or to be masterworks. They're short essays. They could be in part bulleted lists, but one of the most important things you want to talk about is what succeeded and what failed. And of course, maybe some notes to yourself as to where you're going to go in next week's work plan, so that when you submit that on Monday, February the 8th, then you got another work. You've got a head start there. So you use the stuff from your reflection to begin to write your new work plan. So every week it's the same. It's that every single week. So I think that's pretty much it for the week. It's enough, right? The first week is I'm still working my way through everything and your responses, and then y'all are shockingly smart. I really like what I'm reading, and I like the people who are in this class. So keep up the good work. I'll try to keep up with you, but you all are pretty sharp. You will find I lag quite a bit behind you, but I'll do my best. Okay, that's it for the weekly walkthrough. I know it's a little bit rambly this week, but I'm not going to do it again, so have at it.